Hey peeps, what's going on? It's Josh. If you could only see the tripod that I have imagined up for us to use to make this video, you would laugh. It's an envelope box turned on its side with my hydro flask behind it propping the flip. It's a thing that's happening right now, so yeah. Because the flip's the easiest thing for me to use right now. Okay, so there was a question proposed by Karen. Hi, Karen. Thank you for watching. I hope that I can help in some way. I'm going to endeavor to answer some of your questions. I gotta hang on 1 second though, because okay, stop. Okay, stop. Stop. Stop! I turned you off and you're still blowing air. Why? There we go. Okay. Okay. Definitely don't want to hear that in the background. I just want to see your comment with your question. Okay. Alright. Let's see. Ouch. Okay. So, it takes a little while for videos here to post. The internet is not the greatest. I'm grateful to have it, but it's still not the greatest. So, might take a little while to, it might take a little while for this upload, but you should see it at some point tonight, because the second video that I made is still uploading at 10%. So that gives you an idea of how things are going with that. And it's been uploading for like a while. Like I took a bath, I got a shower, things happened, and it's still like 10%. Anyway, so let's get to it, shall we? Alright, so all of this information is with the complete knowledge that I am so green you could call me Kermit. I am just still in my teaming apprenticeship, so don't think that I think that I know more than I do. It's not like that. But when I started, there weren't many videos about the Jim Palmer process, so to speak. I did a lot of research. Maggie did a lot of research. Hi, babe. And we found information, but it was difficult. She, I just messaged her. I tried to message her on Facebook Messenger, vlogging, and it changed it to blight. The fuck? I'm not really sure why, but okay. So she's probably real confused right now. Babe, you'll get it when you see this. Alright, so you went through, or you're getting ready to go through a school. With the Jim Palmer situation, it's an apprenticeship. So what we do is we go to the, I gotta message her back real quick. She's gonna be like, what? Vlogging. No, not vlog. Why does it automatically change? Vlogging. LOL. It's alright. I can't with the noises. Okay, calm down. Not her. The phone, really. So, it's not a school, it's an apprenticeship, which is different than what you're probably going to go through. Now, one of my new friends, Mike, went through a school, and it wasn't the one that you referenced, but I can tell you he had a higher level of confidence, and he had his CDL by the time he started with the company, but he still has to do, I think, 40 or 30,000 miles with a trainer. So some of this will still apply to you, and I'll answer what I can about the learning. I also have a couple of tips for you. When I'm on my own truck, I want to make some videos, but I can't make them with my trainer's truck because she's not okay with videos being done. I could actually potentially go out tomorrow and use her truck to like show you a couple of things, particularly Oh, one thing I wanted to mention, you don't reference what state you're in. Every state is different. For example, there was one thing that in Missouri, if you did, you would fail. But in Montana, you have to do it or you would fail. So check your state references, like reference your state, whatever. I'm not clear at this point if you have your CDL permit or if you're still trying to get it. If you don't have your CDL permit, your CLP, at this point, go to one of my videos, and I'm not trying to get you to click, it's not clickbait, I'm not trying to just get you to watch a video, but literally go to one of my videos where I do where I'm reading the manual, because in the description box, in my pants in that video, it has a link to this website where you can click whatever state you're trying to get your permit in, and it will give you questions that are specifically relevant to that state. And and I'm not trying to brag when I say this, but when I went to take my permit, I had studied that website and the book extensively, like quite a bit, like a lot. And I didn't miss any questions on my permit test. And I know this because at the end of, in Montana, at the end of the test, at the end of the portions, it gives you a chance to review what questions you got wrong. And I clicked on it because I wanted to see what I didn't know. And there weren't any questions for me to review in those sections. So I don't say that to toot my own horn. I'm only as good as my study aids. And those study aids, particularly that website, go to it, please. If you don't already have your permit, do that, because it really worked for me. Okay. If they teach us to shift. I've never driven a manual transmission, but I'm confident I can learn. You totally can do this. There's no question. It's not a matter of if. It's a matter of how you will learn best. You will learn, and they will teach you how to shift. Just a piece of information. A lot of companies are going to automatics, which many truck drivers think is crap, and I personally agree. I like the control that I have over the truck, having a manual transmission. I haven't driven an automatic. Oh, wait, is that a lie? Actually, I think I did drive an automatic for like a minute on the yard. I think. And I didn't like it because what's the point? And also, if you take your test in an automatic, they put a restriction on your license. And I don't know about you, but for me, I don't want any restrictions on my license. So now I can drive a manual because that was what I went. For example, a restriction. I took my test and I had my contacts in. Now I have a restriction on my license that I have to have my contacts or my glasses. Well, I would need them anyway, but, that's an idea of the restrictions. Something like that. You don't want that. Also, another tip. If you wanted to, the company or the school that you're going to, they usually pay for you to get, do the written test, or they cover it. It doesn't cost you anything extra to go for your tanker, your hazmat, your whatever. Doesn't cost you anything extra to get those. And it's just a matter of studying for them. So, had I known that, I would have studied for them and just taken them and just gotten them. Do I plan on needing them or using them? No, but it's kind of cool to have them and have the option. I would have liked to have known that. I thought it would cost extra. I was like, I don't need that. I ain't paying anything extra because I'm very money minded. So I'm like, I don't need that. But that's something, for you to know. As far as shifting goes, you will learn double clutching because I believe in every state it's necessary for the DOT test. You have to show that you can double clutch. There's not really anything about that in your permit test. It's just for the road test. You need to be able to do it. They should teach you. One of the most important things, if you've never driven a manual, that's actually a bonus, because I've driven a manual. I drove a stick shift car for years, and it actually kind of fucked me up a little bit for learning. Why? Okay, in a car, when you're shifting, your foot goes to the floor, or at least mine always did. Otherwise, it's not going to go in gear for you. And also, for me, the way that the gears are laid out for a car is different, because first is forward and all the way to the left. Second is down, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, like so on and so forth. And it's the opposite, because in a manual transmission in a truck, over all the way to the left and forward, those are your reverse gears. You're going to have a pneumatic, is it hydraulic? I forget. But there's a little flicker switch. It goes psh, psh. And when it's up, you're on the high side. When it's down, you're on the low side. Please remind yourself of where you are in your gears so that you don't accidentally pop yourself into ninth when you're trying to go into, something, or so you don't go into first gear when you actually need sixth, because you will stall. And if you stall for your road test, you will fail, and that's all states, because you're not in control of you're not in control of your vehicle, and they will fail you. So that's really important. And I actually know a guy that failed because of that, and he failed. Your school's probably going to be different. With Jim Palmer, you get 2 chances to fail, and then you go home on a bus. For me, that freaked me out. Try not to let it scare you, but ask a lot of questions of your school. Your school should be teaching you how to shift, for sure. Double clutching in a truck, your foot's not going all the way to the floor. If you imagine that there's a balloon under your clutch, under the pedal, and you're just putting it down a little, boom, boom, and that's how it goes. Tiffany from Jim Palmer, awesome instructor. She really helps me. That's another point. I'll make that point now so I don't forget it. You're going to have multiple instructors, most likely. I did. I had Shannon. I had Tiffany. I had Darwin. I had Chris. I had Ellen. Although I don't think Ellen's technically an instructor, she was just as helpful as the others. You're going to have a lot of people probably that you're working with. Now, whenever you're working with people, there's something that I learned from Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer, because I'm one of his ambassadors and I practice his methods with dogs, and I've been in the pet sitting and behavior counseling business for like over 10 years now. So it's a huge part of who I am, and I apply it to every situation that I'm in. His idea is that no matter who you meet, even if they're completely off the wall and they seem kind of crazy, you can take something from them and learn from it, or apply it, or process it, or what have you. And so I kind of went into the school with, I'm going to listen to what everyone tells me, and obviously somebody's going to say something that's going to work for me, and somebody else isn't, or it won't compute. For example, when I was learning how to shift, if your school has a simulator, use it. A lot of people talk shit about it and say, oh, it's just a game. No, the simulator helped me with my shifting, and so did Tiffany. Now, Shannon is, he's the main instructor for your first week at Jim Palmer, which you're not going to be going to, but for me, when he was teaching us how to shift, he would go 1 potato, 2 potato, and I couldn't get my rhythm with that. But then I worked with Tiffany for a couple of hours on the simulator, and she was like, nah, it's more like the Addams Family song. Da-na-na-na, boom, boom, da-na-na-na, boom, boom, da-na-na-na, 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 boom, boom. And that boom, boom is how you're shifting. Because the first thing you're doing, and this will make sense when you do it. It's not going to make sense when I say it, but hopefully when you go to do it, you're going to think back and be like, now I know what the hell he's talking about. So you have your hand, normally you want your hands on the wheel in control, and that's for the test. Now, I typically ride with both hands on the wheels because I use my my armrests, and What they don't tell you is you don't have to have your hands like this on the wheel. They just both need to be on the wheel. So along the steering wheel, I rest my hands at the bottom, and I do keep a fairly firm grip on them unless I'm shifting a lot. And then I have my hand on the shifter. Now, the first time that you put, okay, you're going to be watching your tachometer, and you're going to be watching your speed. Your tachometer is going to go up. You really don't want it going over 1500, and you don't want to pull yourself out of gear before you're at around 9 to 1000 RPMs. The reason for that is if you pull it out and you're only at like 600 RPMs, you're not going to get it to be able to go back in a gear, and that's really dangerous, particularly if you're going down a pass. If you get yourself out of gear going down a pass and you miss a gear and you can't get stopped, you're going to end up taking a roll-away truck ramp. And the thing that they don't tell you about those is you can't just back out of those. It's gravel, and that gravel sucks you down in, and you have to get a wrecker to pull you out. And a wrecker is just a tow truck for us big boys. So you really, this is important. It doesn't seem like it, but it's important you know how to walk through those gears. And so essentially, when you're taking it out of gear, you're just watching your tachometer. And the difference is are you shifting up because your speed's increasing, or are you shifting down because you need to slow down? Shifting down for me, and I think for a lot of people, is much more difficult. So just give yourself patience and watch your gauges. When you're going through the gears, you're going to notice, you're going to watch both of them, and it's an acquired skill. Because for me, driving a car, I didn't have to worry about my tachometer. My RPMs didn't matter all that much except for fuel economy. And I really didn't care about that all that much. Because I always had cars that were like good on fuel economy. So I wasn't worried about it so much. In a truck, you're going to watch your tach. You're going to watch your speed. For the speeds, okay, so first gear, you're going to go through the lower gears, boom, 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 fast. When you get up to like 6th gear, you're going to flick that switch, the pneumatic switch. You're going to flick it up, and you're going to come back over to 1. Because the way that it is, you've got reverse. Reverse is up here. You've got both of them. So each spot is good for 2 gears. And that flicker determines which gear you're going into, high side or low side. Again, this might not make sense right now, but I'm just trying to give you a little bit of information. Hopefully it helps you. When you're coming out of that gear, you want to make sure you're right around 9, usually 9 to 1,000 RPMs. Okay, so what you're going to do, say you're shifting up. You don't have to worry about giving it throttle, okay? Because you're already accelerating, so you're going to go boom, boom. It's automatically going to be going higher for your RPMs. So you don't have to worry about that so much. Shifting up is easy. That's the first thing you're going to get. Here's the thing. For the test, you're not going to want to do this. But when you're learning, if you get nervous, push your clutch and your brake, and you can bring yourself to a safe stop, no matter what gear you're in. If that clutch is down, it neutralizes the gear. And then you can put yourself in neutral, keep your foot on the brake, and calm yourself down or whatever. You're going to have those moments where you're like, shit, I can't get into my gear, fuck, shit. Don't worry, it's okay, we all do that. You're going to stall, and you're going to feel like shit when you do it. Don't freak out. It comes with the time. Don't worry about it. You'll get it. Because I didn't think I would ever get it, and I'm doing okay. So don't freak out. So what you're doing is you have your hand, and I'm holding my hand up like this because this is how I usually kind of like hold my hand. The switch is usually up over my middle finger, and then I'm holding the gear shift like this or like this. It depends on comfort. It's a little bit different for me on any given day. But you're going to push the clutch down a little, bring yourself out of gear into neutral where you can wobble back and forth. And then, so say you are in first gear, okay? And you need to get up to second. You're going to push the clutch down, move into neutral, let off the clutch, push the clutch down, move into second, let off the clutch. That's all you really have to worry about. Now, when you're downshifting, say you're in 10th gear, which is good for basically like you're going to live in 10th gear when you're on the highway. Highway driving is easy. And it's easier to stay in the lane than you think it's going to be. Because that's one thing I was worried about, because when I learned how to drive a car, I had a hard time staying in the gear. Don't freak out over that. You will get it. Your first day, you will be all over the road. If your truck has lane assist, which it should, if that buzzer, there's 2 speakers. Buzzer on your right, buzzer on your left for the lanes. If that buzzer goes off, you're 1.5 feet into that other person's lane. You've got to get back over, but don't do it harshly. Smooth, smooth, back and forth, smooth. Honestly, I'm always kind of moving the wheel a little. I never just sit there and hold the wheel steady. I'm always moving the wheel a little. Minor correction, very minor, because no road is perfectly straight. Also, no road is perfectly even. Sometimes the road's going to be tilted like this, and you don't really realize that, but it's meant to keep water from settling on the road. Sometimes the road's going to be like this. Not that drastic, but you know what I mean? You're always going to be moving the wheel a little bit. Don't freak out if you're doing that. Just minor, very minor movements. And also, if you're going through a lane that seems more narrow and you're in construction, it is more narrow. You're not crazy. Just slow down. Slow down. You want to be going slower when you're going through curves, so that when you go through the curve, you don't want your trailer pushing you if you're fully loaded, which in training, you're not going to be fully loaded. You want to have enough, you want to be held back enough on your speed that you can still apply a little throttle and pull your trailer through that turn instead of that trailer pushing you. And if your trailer's pushing you, you can jackknife, because it kind of makes, this is your tractor, this is your trailer. It kind of makes your tractor, it pushes you and it can jackknife you. So especially if there's any moisture or any snow on the ground, easy peasy. Slow yourself down around those curves. I'm kind of getting off track because there's so much that I wish I had known that I want to share with you, but I'll just do my best. Okay, so now for you, you're going to a school. You're going to learn a lot in baby steps. They're probably going to teach you some of the, you're probably going to have to get your permit if you don't already have it. And then you're basically going to be, okay. You're going to drive around your yard a little bit. And then it's just a matter of getting out on the road. Yeah. You're going to feel like somebody tossed you in the deep end, and you're going to be scared shitless the first time you go on the road. Embrace it. Everybody's scared shitless. And if they tell you they're not, they're either stupid or lying. Because if they're not smart enough to be a little terrified that they have their permit and now they're just allowed to drive an 80,000-pound vehicle, then they're kind of dumb, in my opinion. You should be kind of scared. You should treat it seriously. You should, not scared, like shaking in your booties, but like, holy shit, this is a big deal. I'm allowed to drive this vehicle, and this vehicle has the power to kill a lot of people if I'm not careful. That's just the gravity of the situation is true. So you're going to be nervous your first time out. Talk yourself through things, because for me, when I talk things through, shocking, I like to talk. When I talk things through, it cements it in my brain, and it becomes a part of it kind of melds the psychological with the manual action. So I'm checking my mirrors, glances. When they tell you, look at your mirror, you're glancing back the road. Every 8 seconds, your eyes should be going 1, boom, 1, boom. You're looking at your mirrors, you're glancing. Before you leave your yard, do a serpentine. Cut, if your wheel's like this, do this. Look in that right mirror. Check that your back tires on your back axles for your trailer are moving. Because if they're not, you're dragging them. And if you're dragging your tires, you're going to get in trouble with your company for that. It's just it's a habit. And then cut it to your left and check that mirror and see if those tires are moving. Something that, I don't know if your instructor will tell you, but mine did. And it was like, boom, that's going to be a part of how I do things in the future, because that's one way to keep my ass out of trouble. You know what I'm saying? And Chris taught me that. So it's like, a little piece of things that different people teach me gets incorporated to who I become as a trucker and to be the best and safest trucker I can be. You're going to learn it as you go, essentially. Okay. What else? When you're backing, yeah, this I wanted to talk about. Okay, so if this is my tire, on the back, I'm talking your tandems. When they talk about your tandems, they're talking about the back two sets of tires underneath your trailer. Okay, you've got your steers, which are the frontmost tires on your tractor. You need to know the difference between tractor trailer. Don't call it a semi. Call it a tractor trailer because that's what it is. Your tractor's up front, your trailer's in the back. If you call your trailer your tractor or your tractor your trailer for the pre-trip portion of your test, they won't fail you per se, but they're going to look harshly at you like you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And the number one thing going into the DOT, besides the fact that they love touchy-feely, they want you touching everything so they know exactly what you're talking about and that you know what you're talking about. And you need to be confident. Not cocky or arrogant, but like, okay, so this is what I'm looking at, and I would look... for my tires, I would check this with a tire gauge. I understand you don't want me to, but I want you to know that I would normally check this with a tire gauge. Or that my steer tires need to be 4/32 of an inch, not 4/32. Because what the fuck is 4/32 of an inch? Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Okay, so we were talking about tires, and then I started talking about pre-trip, which was a little crazy, but there's so much to learn and so much to explain, and it's all very exciting to me. If this is your tire, okay, and these are your back tires underneath your trailer, I'm going to try and show you this maybe tomorrow in the light. I might take a little video and pop it up just so that you can get a glimpse of what I'm talking about. Backing for me was by far, Karen, it was a nightmare. I don't have the depth perception that some people do where they can just back it and drop it in a hole. I had to fight for it. I had to fight to learn it because first things first, you're going to start with straight backing and then you're going to do an offset, which you got a blind side offset usually, which you never do. You want to be able to do it, but you don't want to do it unless you have to in the real world. Understand that the schooling that you're going to go through is completely different from the real world. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to a school for however many months they're going to have you in school, and they're going to pound things into your head the way they want you to do it so you can pass the test and get your CDL. And then you're going to join a company. You're going to join a company, and you're going to have a trainer, and they're going to teach you how it's really done. You may not be double clutching once you're with a company because they may not, your trainer may not want you to. You may skip gears. You may float gears. Learn it the way you have to learn it for now because I still double clutch. I don't have to. I know how to float gears, but I choose to double clutch because I like the control. I like the way it feels. Yeah, it makes my left knee kind of stiff some days if I'm in LA traffic, but still, it's a great tool to have. It's your basic foundation of your knowledge. So go with it, but know that once you go out on the road with a trainer, everything changes. So be prepared to be flexible. Anyway, so backing was the hardest thing for me because I had it fixed in my head that I only get so many backups for the test. And I got a little bit of knowledge from everyone. Chris taught me to do a wiggle. So if you're viewing your tractor is the boat and your trailer is the boat and your tractor is the rudder. You're using your wheel and you're going to have to learn. Everybody has to learn. I can't explain it to you, but basically I still say in my head every time, I need my ass end to go to the right, so I've got to turn my wheel to the left. But I usually oversteer when I'm backing. So you're constantly going to be going back and forth, and when they tell you to get under it, they're talking about your tractor. They're talking about bringing your ass end of the tractor under your trailer so that you're getting a little bit more straight. And if they tell you to take a bigger bite, they want your tractor and your trailer to be kicked. Okay? For your 90-degree alley docking, that's the worst for me. That was the hardest part. Use that. You're going to constantly be wobbling. Another good thing about that is when you're looking back, most people look at the side of their trailer, which for me, I couldn't figure out backing. Shannon came out and he was like, instead of looking at the back of your trailer, look at your tandems, your tires, okay? And look at the wall of that tire. I'm not talking about the sidewall. I'm talking about where your tread is. Look at where that's pointing because that's where you're actually going. Okay? And remember, if you're testing and you're California legal, if your tandems are in the 6th hole, which doesn't mean anything to you yet, I'll try and post some videos, some short videos with a little bit of this information. But know where your tandems are, because if your tandems are in the 6th hole, you've got about 10 feet of swing to your ass. So you're going to have to mind that when you're backing so that you don't encroach on the space. That's what they want you to watch. The best thing I can tell you is to get a toy truck. And I'm talking go to Walmart and get a toy truck. I got to check my time. Oh, that's weird. It's like... Anyway, we're going to wrap this up in just a minute or two. Go to Walmart and get a toy truck, one that has a 5th wheel. So it's actually like when you're backing, the tractor actually swings. So you want it to kind of do this. You want one of those toys. You can get one for like $7 or $8. And draw 2 lines of paper, 2 lines on a piece of paper that are just a little bit wider than your truck. And start practicing how you're going to bring your truck back. And that will help you immensely. But watch your tires. All the way in the back, your neck's going to hurt. Because you're going to have a couple of days where you're just practicing and practicing. Watch, your head should be out the window when you're doing your 90. Your head should be out the window. Keep your ass in the seat, because if not, that counts as a get out and look. But your head should be hanging out that window. And you should be looking like at those tires. Where are my tires pointed? Okay. Because you want to have that. I'll make another video about this. But essentially, the biggest part of this message is you can do it. It's going to be brutal. It's going to be really fun. I didn't have fun in those moments. But now I look back and I realize I was having fun. Because I was like... getting into it, you know, learning something new that wasn't easy. This isn't an easy thing you're setting out to do, but you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. And I know a lot of people say that, but I mean it. Like, if I can do this, and it didn't come easily for me, it took a lot of work. If I can do it, you can do it. I'm going to try and make some more videos about some of the parts of this in the next couple of days, and try and help out. And it's not because I think I'm an expert, it's because I'm not. I'm still learning so much. But if I can help, I've received a lot of help, and I want to try and pay that forward, because that's literally what one of the guys that helped me told me to do. I was like, I can never repay you, I can't thank you enough. He was like, just pay it forward. Help the next guy or girl. Help them, because, you know, that's all we can do. Us truckers got to stick together. If you ever see someone in trouble, just, you know, try and help them out if you can. So that's my idea for making these videos. And also, obviously, we all know I like to talk. Right, Maggie? Anyway, alright guys, I'm going to end this because Maggie and I are getting ready to make a video together. And hopefully, you know, just have some fun with that. So, much love. Peep out.